So what is TexitCoin? TexitCoin is a clone of Litecoin, basically right off of it, and there's zero mined. So has anybody heard of XRP? Raise your hand. Okay, that's another cryptocurrency. How about Bitcoin? Raise your hand. Okay, so what if you could take the best of both and create a coin, kind of a hybrid? Zero pre-mined, whereas XRP's been 100% pre-mined. We have permission mining, which is like XRP, but then we have a blockchain just like Bitcoin, which is a faster Bitcoin, basically. 254 block reward every 3 minutes. Bitcoin's given out every 10 minutes. So we have more block rewards. And then the halving is after 695,000 blocks. So we a long way before the halving happens. But as you know, how cryptocurrency works is there's a finite amount. So you can't give it out forever. And I'm going to explain the mining as we go through our presentation. Generations of honest trade. Our mission is to reach $16 per coin, which as of right now, we are right on track to do that in our mission statement and what we've been wanting to do. And actually, the coin is right at $3 today. And so at being at $3 today, we are ahead of schedule. All right, so our history. I told you about the founder, Bobby Gray. His background is in alternative currencies, working in the space well before Bitcoin was created. He testified at the U.S. Congress about alternative currencies. He opened for Ron Paul. Anybody know who Ron Paul is? Raise your hand. So he actually just spoke at the Ron Paul's 90th birthday party. He was a keynote speaker. He made everybody a commemorative Ron Paul TexitCoin and gave everybody a coin at the event, and everybody got 5 TexitCoin, and they were able to watch their TexitCoin since the event go from $1.60 up to $3. And they got 5 TexitCoins, so you can see the value. It almost doubled. Pretty cool. So Bobby was a gold guy. Everybody say product. Okay, so the question is, what is the product, right? Well, this was Bobby's product. Let me show you guys. It was gold and silver. Go ahead and pass these around. This was his product, and what he used to say is, well, I'm going to get all you crypto guys money because I'm going to create a product for you guys. And what I want to do is I'm going to create a wallet that has a QR code on it where you could actually send crypto to it, and it be a cold storage wallet. So once you put the crypto on here through this QR code, that's the public key, and the private key is etched underneath. So in order to get to the money, you have to have the public key and the private key together. Well, it's actually in this tangible coin, which if you've been in the crypto space, you know this is a wonderful product. It's one of a kind. There's nothing out there like it. And so back in 2017, we told Bobby, dude, we need to set up some kind of a distribution center where we can share this with other people. And they can actually earn from sharing. Why is that? Well, because I've handed out like at least 4,200 Bitcoin wallets, and Bitcoin hasn't paid me nothing. And I'd work hard for you if you had a company, if you had a blockchain. Why not, right? And so he had multiple gold and silver businesses, and then he sold his mint. 2023, I think something hit him in the head, and he woke up. He said, I'm selling my mint business. He went all in on crypto, and he recognizes the core issues with modern cryptocurrency. What happens to smart people? They learn from their mistakes, right? But the smartest people learn from other people's mistakes. And so if you could learn from Bitcoin, you could learn from XRP, you can even learn from Litecoin, and you could make something better. Oh, strap on your seatbelt, guys. It's on. What you're about to hear is, I think, some of the most valuable information I've ever heard. So what's the difference between TexitCoin itself and MineTXC? It's the mine that actually supports the network, okay? A lot of people, when I first heard about mining Bitcoin, I was thinking about going into a cave and getting a pitchfork and mining Bitcoin, right? Well, no. What mining Bitcoin is having an algorithm, having a computer power and an algorithm to be able to complete the transactions that are happening on the Bitcoin network called the blockchain. And every time a transaction, let's say I send John some Bitcoin and that transaction happens, this one computer would say, yes, that's a real Bitcoin wallet. That's a real Bitcoin wallet. Boom, confirmation, I confirm. And then all of a sudden 2 confirmations. And then 3 confirmations, 4 confirmations. Once there's 16 to 20 confirmations, it falls into the block, and then the block falls. Every block that falls sends a reward to the computers. Now, if that computer gets the reward, they have Bitcoin now, and that's how Bitcoin's created. Everybody says, where does this Bitcoin come from, right? It comes from the computers completing the transactions. That's why they work so hard to get it. How is that Bitcoin created? Through that computer completing the transaction, the block falls, the computer gets the reward. Okay? But now it's almost impossible to mine for Bitcoin. Why is that? Because all the elite, all China owns all the Bitcoin mines, and they're getting all the new Bitcoin. Why? Because success leaves clues. They know where the money is. They thought, like I did as a little kid, wanting to print money, right? And if we could print our own money, that'd be a good idea. Yes or yes? Heck yeah, why not, right? So the difference is, we're crowdsourcing the mine. So we're selling mega hash packs, AKA seats on the rocket ship, and the goal is 1 million seats. Once we've sold 1 million seats, we're done. And it's mainly marketed through word of mouth. We use our fund for 3 essential tasks: to pay commissions, to build the mine, and promote the coin. And today, we're promoting the coin. Everybody say, thank you, TexitCoin. They paid for the room, and they paid for dinner. So the word of mouth and the promotional money that they're putting out is what pays for all of this right now. All right, so what's the difference between TexitCoin and Bitcoin? All right, number one, we have a clear mission and founder. Has anybody found the owner of Bitcoin? No or no? Absolutely not. They're gone, right? How about customer service? Has anybody ever had an issue with Bitcoin? We have a wonderful customer service here at TexitCoin. And did you know that Bitcoin is not a transaction coin? In other words,
it's a store of value.
Yeah, it's just a store of value. You can't buy ice cream with Bitcoin. Did you know that? It'd be impossible. Why? Because sometimes it takes 15 minutes for a Bitcoin transaction to go through. What if we had a faster crypto? Would it be a good transactional coin? That's what TexitCoin is, because that's what Litecoin is. All right? No good going to the ice cream store and waiting 15 minutes and your ice cream melts. Or how about if it costs you $6 to do a $6 transaction? That'd be bad, wouldn't it? So this is a better cryptocurrency. All right, so what's the difference between mining it and buying it? What's the value? Well, first you can start at $9.95 for 100 mega hash, and then that gets you your TexitCoin every day. All right, so then it pays out TXC to your wallet every single day. It grants access to the referral program so that you can get bonuses, trips, all kinds of fun stuff I'm going to talk about. The value of buying it is you just buy it. That's it. You know, you're not part of the, it just gets you a TexitCoin. There's no referral program. There's no team building. There's no support. I've had tons of support. Okay, so what is hash power? The first time I was trying to research Bitcoin mining, hash power was the most confusing thing to me, but really the best way to explain it is the computer power and electricity combined, which gives you a certain amount of coin from the mining, if that makes sense. And so each seat that you purchase represents a certain amount of hash power. And so for 100 hash, you earn a certain amount of coin daily. Our goal is to create a mine that's 100 million mega hash, so 1 million seats on the rocket ship. Once 1 million seats is gone, then it's done. We're not going to crowdsource anymore. And so right now we're at about 7% of the mined. Would you agree with me that this is first mover's advantage? Okay. Would you agree with me that if it was something of value in the future, that mining today would be a good idea? Yes or yes? And so if we could go back to 2015 and we could start mining Bitcoin, forget about it being at $3, how about 300? Then where would you be? And so the two things I want you to walk away with is, number one, we have permission mining. You can't just hook your computers up and mine on our mine. Only our people that are crowdsourcing will be the miners that mine on the network. That's number one. Okay? Number two, you'll be able to mine for 132 years. So a one-time buy-in, you own that part of the mine. And by the way, everybody say passive. You don't have to share this with nobody. Okay? Alan, how many people have you shared it with? None. Nobody. So Vinny didn't share it with one person. You don't have to share this with anybody, but there is a rewards program. I'm going to go through it. If John brings in 1, 2 free, 3, let's just say $1,000 mining units, he gets 200 mega hash for free. And so what that means is that's how you can build the mine. That's how you could own a big portion of the mine. 3 people, you get 200, that's like $2,000 worth of mega hash. It's a wonderful deal, isn't it? It's nice seeing your mega hash go up and up and up, isn't it? Okay, so how it works is, let's say you get your 1, 2 free, right? That'll give you 200 mega hash, and then 1, 2 free, that'll get you 200 mega hash. But what it'll also do is get you $1,000. And you can either take it in USDC and then go on the crypto markets and do your exchanging. You can get it in TexitCoin, put it in your TexitCoin wallet, or you can get it in hash power. Everybody say hash power. Now, how do you build the mine? How do you get more coins into the future? Is build up your hash power. So if you took the hash power, what the company says is we'll give you double. So now if you get that $1,000, you could get 200 mega hash. So technically, you could bring in a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, free, right? 2, 4, and then you could turn your $1,000 into mega hash. You could get 600 mega hash just from doing this. Wait a second, you just brought in $6,000 and you got 6,000 in mega hash? How can he do this? Say, how can you do this? Wow. Because there's a cap. Everybody say cap. And so how it works is every pay position, and these are called pay stations. Every pay station has a cap of $3,000 per week. Now, a lot of people are like, really, 3,000 a week? I'll take 3,000 a week, right? Can anybody use an extra 3,000 a week? Raise your hand. 100%? All right, pay a couple bills, right? So that means this is a working man's comp plan. Why? Because the guy at the top makes exactly the same money as the guy at the bottom. So here's the deal. There's a lot of deals out there where the guys at the top, it's almost like a Ponzi. You know, you can make up to 100 grand, 150 grand. That's where there's a problem. And so he didn't want to have that. And he says, listen, there's not a lot of meat on the bones. You have to understand that when you come in. But being able to do 3,000 a week, and then if you have 3 pay stations, which I'm going to explain that, that's what I was able to do my very first week. So 9,000 in my first week. That was close to almost as good as I've done, almost ever done. And so I'm like, okay, I like this. How this works is when you purchase a 9-pack or above, you're assigned 3 pay stations. So you get 1, 2, 3 pay stations. That's what I got. I got 3 pay stations. So I was able to do 9 points on my left, 9 points on my right, 9 points on my left, 9 points on my right. That's what I was able to do. And so by being able to do that, I earned 3, 6, 9 my first week. All right, so contests and promotions. When I first heard about this, Bobby sent his daughter, Sam, to my house. And they said, listen, Bobby started this. You know, he knows that you were in crypto back in 2017, and you talked to him about this, and he's actually made this come in fruition, and it's working. And so can you take a look at it? And they were at our house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he did it. I'm like, all my OG guys that I bring this to, they're like, oh, that won't work. I'm like, why didn't you think of a Texit coin? Like in Texas, right? That's secured by the jurisdictional boundaries of Texas, using Texas electricity that's cheaper than anywhere. And so that being said, now that you're bound by the jurisdiction, you're protected. And so if you can mine it in Texas, and what they've done is they've created a way to be a decentralized mine where there's a bunch of different locations. And if you're in Texas and you have 22 mega hash, guess what? You can get a home computer and start mining. And then it mines Litecoin, and the Litecoin pays the electric bill, and then you mine TexitCoin for free. And so it's dual mining. It's dual mining Litecoin, and then we're going to dual mine Doge also. So when they came to my house, they said we have a Thailand trip, and you have to qualify. You're probably not going to make it. And I says, well, it's only 10 days, and I've made every trip I've ever tried to do. So I've been on a lot of trips over the last few months, right? We've been on like 12 trips in 12 months. So I said, I'm going to bring 20 people. And would you believe it? You're going. We have 20 people going to Thailand. Yep. Since in 10 days we were able to qualify. And so we're going to Europe right after the first of the year. We're going to go to, I think does it say on there where we're going? Berlin. We're going to Berlin. We're going to Switzerland. We're going to Asia for 3 weeks. Who does that? Who goes on vacation for 3 weeks? Everybody say crypto rich. Nobody's doing this. Nobody is. That's right. When you go to the Dallas airport, you're going to see advertising for TexitCoin. When's the last time you've seen advertising for Bitcoin? I don't see none. Okay? But guess what they're doing? We just lit up 100 billboards in Florida. Why is that? Because in 45 days we put in 500 people. What? And now there's 100 billboards? How many people do you think is going to be in Florida next month? Do you guys want billboards?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Do you guys want some wrapped cars?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Look at this. Look at these wrapped cars. Okay, when you hit Ranger, they wrap your car. Actually, you wait till you hear about this. Everybody say crypto rich.
Crypto rich.
All right, so sponsors events. We have tons of sponsored events. We're going to the F1 in Austin in October, and you're all invited. What? You're all invited. If you want to go, you got a ticket. We're giving away 21 supercars. For every $1 million we gross, Bobby said, I promise I will buy a supercar and give it away. To somebody who is a miner, to somebody who does their 1-2 free, you get a raffle. For somebody who comes in for the first time and you're just, everybody say passive.
Passive.
All right, we have a dedicated support team. Remember I said I have an assistant now? And so if you have any questions, if you have any issues, go to cryptocarnivore@mytxc.com. She's willing and available to help you with anything. Back office issues, sign-up issues, coin issues, whatever kind of issues you have. So the first thing I say to everybody when it comes to cryptocurrency is, past performance cannot predict the future. So anything can happen. Say anything can happen. Anything can happen. And that's right. And so what I say to everybody is, if this money was gone tomorrow, would you be okay? If not, don't do it. And that's the bottom line. So you shouldn't put your money somewhere if you need it tomorrow. The bread money, the house money, the car money, whatever it may be.
Don't bet the farm.
Yeah, don't bet the farm. Don't put all your eggs in one basket by all means. And so the packages range for anywhere from $995 to $54,000. One seat on the rocket ship will get you a 100 mega hash. That's what Alan has. 3 seats is $29.85. That's 300 mega hash. 5 seats, everybody say I like free mega hash. You guys want some free mega hash?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, right? So if you get 5, you get 1 free. And then the 9 seats, which is the builder's pack, because you get 3 pay stations. That gives you the ability to earn 3,000, 3,000, and 3,000, which is what I did. And then I found out about this next pack, and then I upgraded. Now, why did I upgrade? Because what it did was it gave me 1,100 mega hash, 1,100 mega hash, and 1,100 mega hash, a total of 3,300 mega hash. And then they gave me $27,000 in TexitCoin. Now, if I bought TexitCoin back when it was $1.60, and now it's $3, what happened to my value? It doubled. So it's good to have the mining. It's also good to have the coin. And so this package allows you to have the mining and the coin. All right, how do you get started? You just need a name, phone number, email address, home address, so they could ship you a welcome packet. All right, here's where we start with the questions. Now, Bobby says that in every meeting, we have to be able to answer the questions. And so we're going to do a Q&A like we do in every TexitCoin presentation. This is open mic, so ask any questions you have.
Cool. Well, I'm simply asking, what are these transactions? What are these specific nodes we are looking at? What verifies them? And what gives them value? Right. Sorry, that was a lot, but okay. If you could unpack just a little bit.
So when I send Alan TexitCoin, right, there's got to be a computer that validates that transaction, okay? So there's a mine in Texas that's mining TexitCoin right now, and it completes that transaction. Now, it might be somebody's home computer that completes it, right? It might be the mine that's in McKinney, Texas. It might be the mine that's in Victoria, Texas, that they just implemented.
So speaking of a network.
100%, yes. And it's decentralized because it's not in one location. So it's in multiple locations. Make sense? Now, the question is, why is that valuable? Because you're securing the network. Because you're securing the network, you're going to get a reward. Because he owns part of the hash power that's doing that. Part of the computer and the electricity combined that's doing that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Next question.
That was probably.
Oh, I got you all the way around. Okay.
That's a simple one.
Here we go.
So you mentioned the jurisdiction of Texas. Is there anything special about it? What's special about the jurisdiction of Texas that created or prompted the name for TexitCoin? Other than that's where he was.
Great question. That's a Bobby question because he loves Texas. And I like Texas too, don't get me wrong. But Texas at one time was like, we're just going to be our own country.
That's what everybody, when I share TexitCoin with people, they're like, is it kind of like Brexit?
Well, and so maybe that was a spin-off of that. But again, sometimes, any kind of news is good news, right? And so, if they could spin off of that, that's what they choose. But it's a Texas coin mined in Texas for anyone around the world. And anybody on the world can use it. And it's a layer 1. So what happens when we have our layer 2? In other words, I was a carnival kid, and I love going back to the carnival. And I went to Bobby, and I said, Bobby, why don't we create a carnival token where if you go on a midway, all midways use our tokens? And we can do that on the layer 2 once we get the mine set up. But guess what we need? We need 1 million mega hash to be able to do that. We need 1 million seats filled. Once we do that, we'll have one of the biggest mines in America, if not in the world. And then we can jump into maybe getting a Florida coin, maybe an Asian coin, maybe something else. Another question?
So you mentioned that you have a miner as well. Are they allowing anybody in their community to have mining like computers?
So if you get 22 mega hash, you can call up the company. Now this is being recorded here. If you're in Texas, you can get a home miner and you can plug it in. They'll give it to you. That's yours. So once you've hit 2200 mega hash, you have earned one of them home miners. And you take it, you plug it in. So we've had a lot of people just in their first week get in for $1,000 and then make 3,000. And then you can upgrade. You have 30 days to upgrade to the 9-pack, which gives you the 3 pay spots. It gives you 1,100 mega hash, which is 2 free 100 mega hash, 200 free mega hash. And, or you can upgrade in 9 months from now if you want and just get more mega hash, but it stops at 9. So you can only buy up to 9 and that's it. And that was Bobby's mentality of it not being like Bitcoin and having a cap. And that if you share, you own more of the mine, if you're good at sharing. I see the value of owning the mine. Owning the mine is way more valuable than having dollars right now in my mind. And so you have to understand the value of cryptocurrency. Why is Bitcoin worth $120,000? As supply goes down, right, and every Bitcoin, there's less and less Bitcoin because of the halving. And does anybody not understand the halving? Raise your hand. Okay, let me explain. Okay, let me explain this. So in the very beginning of Bitcoin, you could hook up your laptop to the Bitcoin network if you had the correct software. And we talked about the confirmations and then the block falls and then 50 Bitcoin was given out. 50 Bitcoin, 50 Bitcoin, 50 Bitcoin, 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, right? The lady was talking about the halving event in the very first video and that it's going to be cut down to, 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes? Well, they can't give out 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So after 4 years, it cuts in half. It goes down to 12.5 Bitcoin. And then after the next 4 years, it cuts in half again to 6.25 Bitcoin. And right now we're at 3 point whatever. So 3 Bitcoin every 10 minutes is given out, given out, given out. And so what happens is throughout time, as supply goes down, demand goes up, value goes through the roof. So Bitcoin has to be worth 100,000, 1 million, and 10 million. And these were the stories that we were telling people 10 years ago, and they're like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You are crazy. But guess what? Now they're all calling me going, what's this TexitCoin thing? You're telling me we got a second chance? So as supply goes down and demand goes up, the value is going to go through the roof. And so we're seeing it right now. It's at $3. Low liquidity for a reason. We're not on 25 exchanges yet. First mover's advantage. That's what's happening. And so as of right now, we're just on Bitmart, we're on Dex-Trades, and then you can get our coin once you're a miner in the back office if you want. They'll go and they'll do all the trade for you, and they'll get your coins for you. If you want to go on the Dex-Trade, you can go get some TexitCoin if you want. No problem. John might sell you some or not. I don't know.
I don't think so. So that's kind of why they're projecting like Bitcoin being like worth $20 million in 2020.
Because as supply goes down, and now the computers are working, they would have to make that much because now it's so hard to complete that transaction. It's so hard for you just to earn one Bitcoin. It has to be worth the electricity that's used and all the money that's spent to get that one Bitcoin. It has to be $1 million of Bitcoin at that time. Well, success leaves clues. And we can learn from past experience, and we can see what happened. What if we had a cryptocurrency that was American made? What if we had a cryptocurrency that was owned and backed by the people? What if we had a cryptocurrency that was out there doing advertising and sharing with every person? And I don't know, maybe one day you'll see TexitCoin on that football stadium. Can you see that? Can you see that right there, TexitCoin on the stadium? TexitCoin field, can you see that? Everybody say I was in the room. This is the first meeting. I congratulate every one of you guys for coming. Most of you guys are my friends. You probably feel bad for me. That's why you're here. Thanks for coming, guys. I love you. And I appreciate you. And so is there any more questions? Because we can wrap this up. I don't know if there's any more food. Yeah, go ahead here.
So corporate America always told me to ask questions, and they always called it a SWOT. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are you seeing from your 45 days experience?
Good question. Number one is to make sure that our fearless leader is taken care of, and we protect him. It's kind of like being a trustee of a trust, that guard at Buckingham Palace. And so we're being proactive. Everybody say proactive. Right, you have to be proactive in these situations. The other thing is, the coin itself and how we move forward. We've all heard of pump and dumps. I've been involved in many of them. We talked about a couple companies I was with. All the owners pump the coin and then they dump the coin. So the question is, who's holding the coin? Everybody say, who's holding the coin? You are. And we know everybody who's holding it. We know the guys who've been mining from the beginning and had all the hash power. Guess who they're heavily invested in? The company. They're not invested in their pockets. They understand the longevity of what's going to happen. And so as these 54 packs were created, we're going to need a lot of coin. So what's going to happen now is the value is going to start going up. As these 54s are now, we have a new package. It's a new era. We're going into momentum. The transparency with this company is unbelievable. And let me show you guys real quick. They put everything right in the back office. The total gross of the company, 54 million. Here's income, 21 million. Here's approved commissions, 19 million. Here's TexitCoin promotions, 4%. New equipment, 5 million. Liquidity, 3 million. Pending commissions, 900,000. That's what's in the queue. Total number of miners. Texas. Okay, when we started, check this out. Texas was 60% of the company. In 45 days, Texas is now 30% of the company. Why is that? Because we're on fire in Florida. My goal is to bring more people in Florida than in Texas. It talks about the total miners, the revenue, very transparent. They lay everything on the line. They talk about every dollar that's spent. And you don't see that. When you go to Houston Airport, you're going to see advertisements. When you come to Florida, you're going to start seeing some advertisements. Okay, so the company, Bobby made a deal with us, and he said we had the biggest month ever last month. And I told him, I said, there's a lot of people excited about this Lotus you just got. What he did was he said, go pick out a car, and I'll pay the monthly, and he took care of it. So it's just paid for. After 20 months, if you want to keep the car, if you do this, this, and this, you can keep the car. You don't have to pay. It'll be yours. We'll give you the title. So he has a leasing company. He leased it to me, and then he said, you can keep it if this happens. He's doing that for every $1 million we gross in the month of September, and September's now. And so in the month of August, we grossed, I think it was close to 21 million just in the month of August. I think we're going to do over 30 million. So that's 30 supercars. He's already bought like 11 supercars. I mean, I think the cheapest car is a top-of-the-line Mercedes, something like that. When in Austin, they're going to have the F1 in October. If you guys want, I think it's the 14th.
Oh, 14?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever the F1 is. Anyways, we'll be back from Thailand at that point. He'll have all the cars there. We're having a big party. We're giving out the cars. So ask me, what does it take to qualify? You have to be minor of the week or minor of the month. And I think the top 10 minors are going to get a car. So that's just somebody who shares a lot. Or just a brand new minor gets a raffle. Or if you do a 1-2 free, every time that happens, you get a raffle. Or that's every time you bring in a 9-pack, you get 1-2 free. You get your 200 mega hash, you get a raffle. I think there's a deal if you bring in 54, you get a certain amount of raffles. And so however many raffles you get, they pull a raffle out, it's your car. The insurance is paid. Because a lot of times you get a supercar, you can't afford the insurance. I got the Lotus, and I told Melissa, my girlfriend, you need to get the insurance for me. And it was like $2,600 for 6 months. I'm like, that's almost a house payment for the insurance. So I told Bobby, I'm like, Bobby, these people can't afford. He said, we'll take care of the insurance. So, and then if you want to keep the car afterwards, there's some kind of deal that you can make to keep the car if you want to keep it. Any other questions? All right, guys, our goal is to bring 1 million seats to the rocket ship. Everybody put your finger in the air and say, alls we need is one more to the moon, TexitCoin. All right, guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate you.